Hello everyone, welcome back to DMP Tech. I'm excited to bring you the second video in our SS tutorial series. If you haven't checked out the first video yet, I highly recommend giving it a watch. It will give you a solid foundation and boost your confidence in working with SSIS. But don't worry, if you are just joining us, we will be covering everything from the today. If you are enjoying the content and finding it helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your support means a world to me and help the channel grow. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful and share it with your friends and colleagues who might benefit from learning SSIS. Together and let's dive into the today's tutorial. In our last tutorial, we dove into the control flow, data flow task, where we read the data from the CSV file and uploaded it to the SQL server. We also explored how to seamlessly copy and paste the data between the databases. In today's video, we will going to cover Execute SQL Tasks. We will learn how to execute SQL command directly within your SSIS package. So let's jump right and unlock the full potential of SSIS together. So first I'll give you some background what is Execute SQL Tasks. So you have a SQL command that you want to run through the SIS. Syntax would be the same as SQL. In our example, we will use it for deletion of a data from the existing table. And also we can run the separate task for the stored procedure. You might be thinking how it will be useful on a daily task. So I would like to explain you the two scenarios here. Scenario one, suppose on a daily basis, you receive a file from customer and you want to first clean the data from the database and then update the new data came on today's file. So this could be the first scenario for you. The second scenario, you have a store procedure created and you want to run this on a daily basis. So then you can use this functionality. So instead of executing a store procedure on SQL, you can directly schedule this in SSIS and SSIS will run this package on a daily basis. So you don't have to worry about the daily tasks. Without any further delay, let's jump onto my screen. So you can see that we have opened the SSIS application. So here we have a control flow that we saw in the last video. We have a data flow. So what I will do, those who are new to this video, what I will do is I will create a flow again so that they don't have to watch the previous video. But I would highly suggest to go and watch that video because there are a lot of information I have provided in that particular video. So let's start with the flow. So first, what we need to do, we need to drag the data flow task in the canvas in the control flow. Okay. So once you drag it, the data flow task, the first step that we need to do is we need to set up a connection. So what I'll do is I'll set up a connection. So my first connection would be the file, right? So new file connection, because I want to extract the data from the file. Okay. Here I can just browse the file. So I have this CSV file, sample superstore. I'll take this and I'll click on OK. So the connection has been set up for the flat file. Now I'll set up a connection for OLADB. OLADB is nothing but your SQL connection. Okay? So since I have already set up a connection, what I'll do is I'll select the existing one. So my database is my connection. So I'll take this one. Okay. So my connection is successfully set up. Now what I'll do is I'll just show you the SQL tables. So I have two tables in front of me. So one of the database is my database and another database is master database. So what I'll do is in the master data, in my database, I will take the information from the file and paste it over here. Okay. So this is the sample that, what I'll do is maybe I can just write a syntax in front of you. So if you select the first 1000 row, okay, you can see that this data is already been set up. Okay. And if I show you how much total number of count is here, so I'll just take select count. I'll put star from sample. Okay. So here I would like to see how much total number of transaction I have. To execute, I have 10194. So this is a count of transaction that I have. And if I go to my second table, the data sample one. If I take the first 1,000 row, okay, I'll copy paste the same syntax. I'll delete unnecessary one. Okay, so I'll take this one. I'll go here, sample one. Okay, this is my second table. So if I run this, so I have total 10194. So this data is already there in my both the tables. Now what I need to do is I need to create a flow which can transfer all the data, right, from the file to database. So in the data flow task, I need to double click on that. So it will take me to the data flow canvas. Okay. Here, this is the heart of SSIS wherein we need to build the entire ETL, right? So first, what I need to do is in ETL, we need to first give the source, right? So in the source, what we need to do is we need to take the flat file source, drag it in the canvas. Okay. Now just double click on that. Here we need to set up a new connection. Here now I can browse the file. So this is my file. I'll take this file. I can view the columns and the data that I have. I can preview the data, right? And I'll click on OK. I'll click on OK. Okay. So this is the source file that I'm getting on a daily basis. Now what I need to do is I need to set up a destination, right? So the destination, I have to transfer all this data to my SQL server. So I'll take OLEDB destination. Okay. So here I'll double click the comment not available. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to connect this to your destination. Okay. Once it is connected, double click on that. Here we need to select my database is already selected. Here I'll take table and view. Here it is sample table. So I'll select sample table. I can see the mapping. So mapping has already been set up. I'll click on OK. It is giving me an error. Let's see what the error is. Error is saying column order ID cannot be converted between the Unicode. Okay. So this I have already explained in my previous, but I can again explain it to you. If you view the script, for row ID, we have a float, and for order ID, we have an varchar. And if you want to see that in SSIS, what is, if you click on this connector, you go to metadata, you can see the row ID and order ID is string, right? So we need to convert these two to, one row ID to the float and order ID n varchar, right? So how can we do that? We can just use the transformation. So in the transformation, we need to use data conversion functionality. So what I'll do is I'll drag this up here. Okay. I need to delete the connection first. I'll do is I'll connect, oh, sorry. I'll connect this to data conversion. Now, if I double click on that, I can take row ID and order ID. Okay. Here, first, I need to change the column name. So I'll put C underscore is nothing but converted. You can give any alias that you want. Okay. Here, I need to select the data type. So for row ID, it was float. So I need to take the float one. Float, right? Here it was n varchar. This one. Okay. So Unicode string DT WSTR. So this is nothing but your n varchar. Okay, for float, there is no length is required, so that's fine. I'll click on OK. Now I need to connect this to my output, that is OLEDB. Okay, here I need to work on mapping because I have created two new columns, right? In the transformation step. So here order ID, you check this, you can take C, it means converted the new one that we have created in the transformation, order ID. Okay. The mapping is done. You can see the error is now went away. Okay. So your flow is ready now. Okay. Before we run this flow, I can just show you how much count we have, right? In the sample data. So this is my database and we have 10194. If I execute this process, if I run this flow, how can I do that? I can go to control flow. Since this is only the one task that we have, so we can right click and we can click on execute task. Okay, the flow is now successfully ran. Now what we will do is we will go and see in the database, right? So if I execute this, you can see my count is increased to double, right? 20388, right? But I don't want this because on a daily basis, if the revised file will come, it will already have a revised data in that. So I don't want to duplicate that, right? So how can you achieve that? So in that case, we will use execute SQL task. Okay. So here, what I'll do is I'll first close this one, right? So here we need to use execute SQL task. Okay. So what's the mean of that? Okay. So basically, execute SQL task means whatever syntax you will provide here, it will run that particular syntax. Okay. For example, we want to delete all the data from existing table, that is existing from existing database, right? How we can do that? Either we can directly go here and we delete all the data first, then we will come and run the package. Okay. But that is a manual task and it is not suggested, right? So what you can do is in a SSIS package only, you can schedule that particular deletion. So that is what I'm going to do here. What I will do is I'll double click on this, right? So here I can, if you see, I can select the connection here. That is this one. And I can just write the SQL statement. So if I click here, I can just write the deletion statement over here. So how can we do that? So in order to delete, we need to use truncate. Syntax for truncate table, the table name, right? So if I execute this, you can see it's successfully done. If I again select this, it is showing 0, right? So this particular syntax, what we can do is we can execute this syntax from SSIS package directly. We don't need to run this particular syntax on a daily basis manually. How can we do that? We can go to, this task, right? Here we can just write that syntax. Okay, not this syntax, but this syntax. Okay, if I put this syntax here, I'll click on OK and I'll click on OK. Okay, so I have created execute SQL task and I need to connect this to this. Okay, so how it will do is it will first execute this task, execute SQL task, and then it will run this task. So on a daily basis, first it will delete the existing record from the database, then it will flow to this task. Okay, and this task will update the new record. So this is the whole task that we want to achieve here, right? So since we have already deleted everything here, and if I show you so we have built the one flow, which is like taking the data from the file and putting it into the my database. But we will also build the second flow, that is uh, transfer the data from one database to another database. Okay, how we can do that? So I'll just tell you here what we want to achieve. We want to copy all the data from this table and we need to paste it in over here. Okay, so this is I already explained in my previous tutorial that this we are doing in the staging table kind of stuff. So before you transfer this data from one table to another or from one server to another, you can do the many transformation before you put that into the staging table, right? So let's see how we can do that. So now I will create another flow. Okay, here if I want to create any flow, first I need to drag the control data flow, right? So here I have dragged control data flow. Now I will double click. Here my source will be Ole DB because I want data to be transferred from one database to another. I'll double click here. Here, my source is my database because I want data from here. I'll take select table. Here I can take this table name, that is sample. Click on OK. Now from destination also, I need a OLEDB because I need to transfer it to SQL Server only. So I'll take this one. First, I need to connect this to this. I'll double click. Here, I need to select, the new database, where I want to land this. So I want to land in the master. So I already have the connection. I'll click on OK. Here I'll take table and view. Here I can take sample data one. I'll click on OK. Still giving me an error. Let me see. The number of input column in the OLEDB destination input is cannot be 0. Okay, it was just I need to go to mapping. So here we need to come to mapping and we need to click on OK. So now the error is gone. Now let's see. So this flow is developed now. I'll go to control flow. Here I need to again develop one execute SQL task, right? And here I need to select connection. So my connection is this. And SQL statement that I need to write is truncate table sample underscore one. Okay, so this is now done. I'll connect this to this. Okay, so this is now developed. I will go and run the package. So since we have a two separate tasks over here, so we cannot run individually. We need to run the package. SSIS package. I need to select this. I need to click on execute. So let's see what will happen. So now you can see that both the task has been successfully executed. Now I will go to my database. Here I will select this one. It is showing me 0. Okay, so you can see it has deleted the data. But here I think we are getting one issue. Now here, what is the issue? In the sample data one, it is not transferring the data. I know why it is happening. Maybe if I connect this to this, let's see what will happen. So what it will do is first it will empty my database table, then it will insert a row, then it will delete the existing one, and then it will flow. So let's see if this will work. Okay, now the package is successfully ran. I'll go to this one. I'll check, I'll execute this again. Now the data is inserted successfully. If I take the count, select count star from sample one. Okay, yes. So now you can see the number is 10194. So this is the execution. Now what we will do is let's take the day two. Okay, so this is a day one, right? So for example, on the day two, you have received the minimal deal. You have received only 4 deal in the file. So let's see if this is working or not. So in this database, I'll keep only 4 deals and I'll delete, sorry. So what I'll do is I'll create a copy of this. I think that will be very helpful. Okay, I'll go here. Maybe I'll just take this one, copy paste. So I'll keep a copy and here I'll change the data. I'll keep only 4 row. Okay. Suppose in the next day, there's no deal for that particular client. Okay. Only 4 deal is executed. So what should happen in the database? So it should delete all the, the rows that we have, and it should insert the revised data that we have, right? Only the 4 deals. That is what the objective is. So let's see how it will happen. So I'll save this file. And if I execute my package, I'll close this. I will execute this package. Let's see what will happen. Okay, now the flow is successfully ran. Now we will going to see what has happened in the database. So we have number of four record. In my database, we have four number of record. Okay, and if I execute the whole query, let me execute this. So we have only four transactions, right? Here, this is master database. If I remove this and if I select and execute this, you can see only the four transactions. Okay. So on daily basis, whenever you will receive the revised file or the updated file, the updated data will get inserted. So that is how we use execute, SQL query, execute SQL tasks. So that is what we are using it. I hope you got the logic, and I hope you should also understand how we can flow this up, right? So if you flow this up separately, it will run the package together. Okay. So what was happening previously is that when we are running this, so it is deleting the sample data one, right? It is deleting together. So that's why we were not getting it, but we have flowed this in a sequence manner, in a correct manner. Now it is executing in a sequence manner. Okay. So that is how you need to run the flow. Now we will see the second use of execute SQL task. So let's say we have a store procedure. So I'll show you the store procedure. So how can you see the store procedure? You can go to your database. Okay. And here you can go to programmability. You expand this, you can go to store procedure. Okay. So I have this number of store procedure with me. If I just show you this store procedure, okay. So I will not going to explain this whole store procedure. I have just created one store procedure, or on a daily basis, I want to run this store procedure. So there's a two way to do that. One, I can execute this store procedure statement in SQL itself, or second, I can schedule this in SSIS package. So on a daily basis, I don't want to call this, I don't want to come and run this syntax on a daily basis and in my SQL server. So what I can do is I can schedule it in SSIS. So how can I do that? So I'll take this execute SQL task here. I'll double click. Okay. And here in connection, I'll select my database. Okay. And here in SQL statement, I'll just write execute. I need to mention the procedure name. That is this one. Okay. I'll mention this. I'll click on OK. I'll click on OK. Okay. Right now, I'll show you the tables that we have. So basically, this store procedure is we have created, to insert a daily record, in the table. So we have a two table with us. One is a sales table, another one is a product table. So in a sales table, we want to insert the transactions. And in a product table, we have a remaining quantity or the quantity in our stock. We want whatever quantity we have sold, we need to reduce that particular quantity from the balance. And here in the transaction table, that particular transaction should be added. So I'll just show you both the table that I have. So this is my sales table. If I show you the sales table, so you can see that I have only the four transaction. Okay. So if I execute the store procedure, it will insert one more record, the fifth record, with the quantity one and whatever is price. And if I show you the product table here, in the product table, we have only the one product, that is M1 Maruti. The quantity remaining, we have four, and it should reduce since we have sold this. It should increase to 197 and it should reduce the quantity remaining to 3. So that is what our store procedure is doing. I don't want to run this store procedure from my SQL. I want to schedule it in SSIS package. So that is what I did over here. If I show you, right? So I have executed this store procedure over here. If I click here and if I execute this package, let's see what will happen. If I go to my this table, if I execute this, you can see the quantity remaining is reduced to 3 and 196 to 100. The quantity sold has been increased from 196 to 197. Same way, if I go to my sales table and if I execute this transaction, you can see that the one record order ID has been inserted and it is now sold. The fifth record has been inserted. Okay. So on a daily basis, as and when my procedure will be called in SSIS package, this will increase the transaction, right? So this is a use of execute SQL task. I hope you understand the topic. If you like this video, please hit a like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel because it will give me a boost and grow my channel. So thank you so much for your time.